It's late, I know. This is what I get for having to spend time playing Final Fantasy IX on the Switch. Yeah, I actually got it on the Switch. I'm MegamanNG, and I welcome you to another Ace Attorney anime review. We're in Season 2. This is Episode 19, Bridge to the Turnabout Third Trial. I'll provide a summary as well as some of the main points. Let us continue on, shall we? The trial takes an unexpected turn with the arrival of Laurice Donim. Thanks to his testimony, for better or worse, the trial is extended for another day. By this point, Nick has recovered and is now back on the case. But he isn't the only one that's back. Godot is as well, and he's not the least bit happy. Nick has his work cut out for him, as the road to find the truth is getting much harder. Yeah, that's pretty much the lowdown for this, because we're continuing with more of Bridge to the Turnabout. We reached Trial 3, and next week's going to be Trial 4. I think my theory is that it's going to be ending after 6 or 7. I don't know, because Bridge to the Turnabout is long as heck, but worth it all the same. The first trial day does continue on, but I feel the episode is split into two halves. First half is the trial, and thankfully it's not much. It isn't. It continues on with testimony from Laurice Donim, and the testimony ending making things more complicated. It ends sadly with no verdict, meaning that further investigation is needed. Edgeworth does a great job being a sort of defense attorney. Sure, it's only temporary, but it's worth it all the same, and I felt that this alone was pretty much one of the reasons why he actually got really popular. And the fact that he would end up getting his own spin-off series, 2 games. Makes me wish we get a third one, or heck, bring those 2 games to the Switch or something. I would buy that. And yeah, Nick is back. Almost. He's recovered, but he still has a bit of a cough. But that's not stopping him. He's not gonna be stopped, no way. He doesn't waste time, and he's already off to the training hall. But what he discovers will be more questions than answers. One being Pearl. And he noticed that the sign was filled with gravy. With the fact that Pearl says that all of this was her fault. Yeah, all of this is actually going to be revealed next week, and I'm going to have a field day on that. And yes, Godot's back. And he's still being a smart mouth, having this grudge against Nick. We also learn that, yes, without his visor, Godot can't see. And it also ties in what happened in his previous life. We all know, but for the sake of this anime, Nick's going to eventually figure that out. How he also knows what happened in the case is another clue. And the fact that we know for sure he knows what happened to Mia, the events of Turnabout's sisters. And he goes on to blame Nick for her, not only her death, but the fact that he also led Maya to her death. The fact that this happened is 2 things. One, he still harbors feelings towards Mia. That much is already confirmed during the events of Turnabout Beginnings. And the fact that he couldn't save her either really shows that, yeah, he felt like he failed. Not that I blame him for that matter, because he wasn't even there when Mia was pretty much murdered. It's just sad, really. Not only is Bridge to the Turnabout one of the more important cases in the Ace Attorney trilogy, but it's also, in my opinion, one of the saddest, because many of these characters end up being affected in more ways than one. And the worst is yet to come, believe me. Nick probably feels responsible because later on, after he grabs Godot and then throws him aside, Godot grabs Nick and then after that throws him aside, Nick decides to contemplate, and he feels that he blames himself for what happened. And I like how the ending of the episode went. It ends with Nick finding a bloodied mark, like a blooded name on the lantern. This is just going to set things up nicely for next week's episode. But I am going to say this. This episode was alright. Not good, just alright in my opinion. I only have about 2 complaints. The first one being that they didn't include a scene where Franziska simply whipped the ever-loving heck out of Laurice Donim like in the games. It would have made for a rather hilarious way to end the trial, plus it would give Franziska something to vent out against. I'm not one to judge, to be honest, but I felt that having that would have worked, the same way as it did in Justice for All. As for the later scene, Godot really wants to hammer it home. I mean, we see a side of Godot that's just emotional, motivated by anger and revenge. Dang. I really don't know what to expect for next week. But yeah, minor complaints aside, this episode turned out to be alright. I give it a solid 8. I would have reduced it to a 7.5, but what I can say is that the pacing for it is not rushed. Thankfully, they were able to take their time on it, and surprisingly enough, they did it well. I could be wrong, but like I said, the episode was okay. I'm looking forward to next week, especially when there are tons of revelations, and me having to, make tons of notes. So anyway, yeah, you guys will be getting another review next week, along with a review of Power Rangers Beast Morphers. I am thankful to everyone who did watch the first episode review, which means now I have a new reason to keep going. Yeah, that's it for this Ace Attorney anime review. If you enjoyed, please be sure to hit the like button. It means a lot to me. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, and click the bell. Doing it all helps out to my benefit. It really does. This is MegamanNG signing off. Peace out. See you next week. Igi'ari!